promised, here's part 2 of Project Fireball Camaro. If you can see, we've got a legit roller. It's a functional rolling chassis. Now, like we normally do, things get out of hand. So in the first video, I kind of cut the plastic and I wanted to keep it simple. Well, that didn't happen, guys. So when you take the seat out, you can see we went with a rear shock. So this is a pretty sweet concept. So what it is, it's a mountain bike shock. It takes air for the compression and it's got adjustable rebound. So since we're right here, you can kind of see it's got different shock mount positions for ride height. And you can see we went with a kind of a ladder bar. Hey, let's flip it up. That's a good idea. So you guys can kind of see. Now, before I flip it over, now check out the action of it, guys. It's gonna squat. So pretty cool, huh, guys? You can see where that is at launch. It's gonna squat the rear and launch those front tires. It should be epic, especially with the surprise motor wiring setup we have. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. But let's get back to the chassis. So we got the stock 7/16 axle mounted to the these are Powerwheels Escalade rear tires. I've had a bunch of people ask that. Where'd you get them? This is from a Powerwheels Escalade. I didn't mention that in the first video. And these are just mock-up gearboxes, junk kind of motors, just to get things ballparked. The next question I want to answer is, people couldn't figure out how I'm securing the gearbox. Well, we're taking a piece of flat bar and we're going to install it right behind the gearbox. I don't know if you can see that because it's so dang dark right there. But that is going to keep the gearbox from rotating. So that's how that's going to be supported. Right now they're just floating because we need to make room for the wheelie bars, which that's the next step, is we can actually weld in some flat bar material. So if I flip this up, you guys can see it's basically like a ladder bar slash swing arm setup. You can see the air shock there. Everything's just tacked in. We've got Heims joints here so we can adjust the axle lag and lead. We went pretty serious with 3/8 Heims joints for the ladder or for the wheelie bars. And you're gonna need a left and a right so that you can adjust the ride height of the wheelie bars. As it launches, you might need to adjust how high one is, just like a big car. Or you turn them both at the same time and it's gonna lower it so that it gets less front wheel height. You can also see the big old wing we've added. These are called Cleco clips. They are temporary. I've had people ask, why'd you use such long rivets? That's just temporary, guys. This is all gonna be, once we get all the fabrication done, it's gonna be taken apart and painted red, even the wing. So yeah, don't stress about that. They're not dangerous rivets. They're called Cleco clips. You can see the mini tub here we got going on. That is what's gonna go in to cover up the tire. Still a lot of work left to do on that. But that will be the next step in metal fabrication, is the wheel tubs and the dual parachutes. So as you can see on Nightmare over here, we actually have a working parachute. Right here's the lever for it. So when you pull this lever, it releases the spring mechanism in here and the parachute comes out. Well, Fireball has two, so we're gonna do a dual parachute mount, and it's gonna go through, I don't know where, we'll drill a hole and that's where the mount for the parachutes will be, because we've still gotta do a little bit of extension of the frame here to support this. We wanna support this rear deck a little bit. So we've gotta be careful because we don't wanna hit motors, and the motors we're gonna have are a little bit bigger. So yeah, the wheelie bars, we used rollerblade tires, and we had a heck of a time finding tubing. This is 3/4 inch thin wall tubing. And shop around, guys, if you're trying to mimic this, because I've had a bunch of people ask, how hard is it? can you retrofit fat tires? Well, this is days of work, guys. You know, we tack stuff up, we look at it, we don't like it, we cut it apart and start over. You know, it all depends on your eye. We want to make this as scale realistic as possible, because we love the squat. I just, when that epiphany came to me, I was like, dude, we got to figure this out. So here is the actual shock. It's got 53 millimeters to travel, which is roughly like 2 inches. You unscrew this cap right here, and that's where you put air in or take air out. This knob adjusts how fast it actually rebounds. So you can make it rebound slow, or you can make it bounce right back up. And then this other one is actually a cable operated lockout. So the cable feeds through here, and it's got a little set screw here. Some people call them brub screws. So once you have your thumb switch here and you push that, it'll actually lock this, and it'll be like a rigid suspension, because we might like it, we might hate that it squats, we might want the faster response of an instant hard launch. But we've got the adjustability. We can adjust the air pressure for a rider height or rider weight. So if it's a bigger, heavier rider, we can firm it up. If it's a teeny little 40-pound guy or girl, we can let some air out so that it actually has some cush. And then we're probably gonna take the travel lockout screw, and we're thinking about putting it here, and when you push it, it's going to engage a lever inside the door here, and it's gonna have another cable that goes up, and that's what will release the 2 parachutes. I'll put a picture of Pro Charger. We put dual parachutes on that too. We never actually did video of it, but yeah, dual parachutes will look awesome. The front end we got done. You can see we made some drop spindles, and I'll put some pictures of that right here of how we built those. All right, so here's a little sneak peek of the drop spindles. I did it all out of one piece of bar stock, so it's just easier to drill on the drill press. Basically, we're doing 2.5 inches center line of the axle. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut off your axle, and you're gonna slide one over the axle shaft, and then the piece that you cut off is gonna fit up in the other one. And so the next step is to cut this drop spindle in half, cut off the axle, and grind off the original stops. All right, so I got all the pieces for the spindle cut. You can see them kind of sitting there. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug weld it. We're just going to weld right around the hole. It's a 7/16 shaft, but that will essentially lower it 2.5 inches. So it's a pretty easy concept, guys. We basically cut the axle, put an extension piece of 3/8 bar stock, and re-welded it, and that's how we get the rake that we wanted. We ended up with 2.5 inches. We lowered the front end, which gives us a 2-inch ride height under the valance here, but not at the bottom. We kind of like it. It's got a little bit of a rake going on. And then people have asked where I got these wheels. Well, these are adult scooter tires that went to a metal gearbox on a previous build we did, the Ultimate Razor. I'll put that video up above right here. So that was a high-end build with metal gearboxes. That thing was ridiculously fast. But these aren't available anymore, so I'm going to put a link in the description to the wheels we're going to replace them with, because we found some on Amazon that actually have bearings. This we drilled out and just put PEX tubing in there. It's a bushing. It'll work, but the other ones are already anodized black. They have bearings. We're going to swap those out when they come in tomorrow. But yeah, as far as today's video, that was kind of it. We got frame, wheelie bars, and Pro Mod wing. And so look for the next update of wheel tubs, parachute, and we're going to start talking about motors. Motors. You said something about motors? Well, for years I tried to figure out brushless motors in Powerwheels. I could never do it with a driver. I could always do it with remote control. You know, you got a radio system. Well, there's a guy that's way smarter than me. I'm not going to talk about details. I don't know if he's going to want to sell these guys, but he figured out a way to hook up brushless ESCs or electronic speed controllers to a foot pedal. Yeah, so this is supposed to be a plug and play kit. I have not even fired it up yet, but in the next video you're going to see some of that, guys. This is a game changer. 30,000 RPM motors, powerful brushless motors, is going to be epic. So that system is more than likely going to go in Nightmare, because in a lot of the rules you cannot run brushless motors this year. So Central Ohio Powerwheels Racing, they just updated a bunch of rules. You can't run one car in 2 different classes. So who knows, we might be building more cars, but we're just ready to have fun and sponsor some drivers. You know, this build has brought back a lot of passion for me in building these things. Now that my kid races at a high level of karting, I didn't have the passion for it, but this right here, thinking, man, the chance for Ryan Martin to see this car, maybe take it to a no prep race, have him sign it, this would be like epic. So with that being said, guys, look for more updates soon. And if you like this video, give us the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, because these are going to be crazy builds. Fireball and great car. Thanks for watching.